What if I told you saying no would be the key to unlocking your potential? Because the truth is, saying no isn't about being rude. It's about prioritizing your dreams. And if you are someone who's tired of constantly feeling overwhelmed and burnt out, it's time to turn the light within and search for why you aren't saying no to the wrong things and how you can stop that cycle and say yes to the things that matter. I don't have to be the one to tell you this because you already know that saying no can lead to a happier and more successful life. The question we aren't asking, but we should ask is this: why aren't you already doing it? What's still holding you back? Because you already know the benefits. You already know that yes, when I say no, when I set the right boundaries, when I communicate with confidence, I can make time for the things that I love. I can pursue the dreams that I want to, and I can always feel more open and confident in my relationships. And yet, despite knowing all of this, you still back off. You still don't feel like yourself. You still end up saying yes, even when deep down you want to say no. And why is that happening? What is the one thing that is causing it? And the reason I'm asking these questions is, and going to the root of them, is that I face the same problem. I was a yes man all my life, and I was highly aware of the benefits that come along with saying no, and I still didn't do that. I took a pause, I waited, and when the pressure was on, when I was facing the other person and they'd made a request, I just couldn't say no. I felt that if I did, I would disappoint them, that they wouldn't believe in me anymore, that they wouldn't like me, or they wouldn't accept me as who I am. And so I just went along with everything. I said yes, even when I already had a table full of pending tasks waiting for me, and I added another one on top of it. I said yes, even when I knew that the activity would drain my energy, that I wouldn't be myself, that I wouldn't like it. But who can risk disappointing their friends, right? That was my attitude. And because of that attitude, I was never able to say no. But now I can. Now I'm able to do so openly. And I don't do it disrespectfully at all. I appreciate the other person. I appreciate their concern. But I politely say that as of now, unfortunately, this wouldn't be possible for me. I can't do this, and I hope you'll understand. Those are simple words, right? But saying them, typing them out in a message, took me a long time, and it took me a while to get there. But when I look back on that journey, right, I can find the one catalyst that sparked this change and gave me the confidence to say no to the other things so that I can say yes to my life and to my dreams. And it's the simple, hard, uncomfortable, but important realization. And it goes like this: when you say yes to something you don't want to do, you are actively denying yourself the growth, the right, and the pleasure that comes with doing the stuff that you want to do. And that is a powerful, powerful realization, because when we recognize that saying yes is not a passive act, that it's not just something we do out of compulsion, that it's not actually as easy as we make it to be, that's when we realize that, oh my God, I've been denying myself my whole life. I've not been prioritizing myself. I've not been prioritizing my goals. And that's when you realize that when you're actively denying yourself, when you're actively not saying yes to the stuff that makes you grow, how can you expect good results in life? How can you expect that all your dreams will line up and all the professional growth that you want, the personal growth that you want, the happy relationships that you want, how will they come to you if you're not giving yourself the chance to get them? It doesn't make logical sense, right? And the way I realized this was the day things started to change, because I recognized that if I wanted to make a positive change in my life, if I wanted to make sure that every single day I'm living with purpose, then I would have to start saying yes actively to the stuff I wanted. And if that meant saying no to stuff I didn't want, well then I would have those uncomfortable conversations. And the first one of those conversations is the conversation you have with yourself. Because when you recognize that by saying yes to stuff you don't want, you are actively saying yes to the stuff you want, the first question comes, what do you want? And this is where most people get stuck, because the reason they are not able to confidently say no or stand up to their priorities is that they don't know what their priorities are. They have no idea. They don't know that, okay, if I say no to my friend for a party tonight, what will I do with my time? They don't have that clarity. They think that, okay, fine, I'll say no to my boss because I don't want to do this extra project. But what else am I doing? So I might just as well take it, right? And when that reasoning starts kicking in, when you don't have a better priority and for the lack of it, you start saying yes to everything that comes your way, you start losing control of your life. Other people and their requests and their demands start to dictate the direction you take, and that is why the ability to say no doesn't come from suddenly gaining confidence or being okay with rejection or being able to face the other person and say, no, I do not agree with you. That's not where that comes from. What you need is to have that clarity within yourself that am I clear on what I want? And if you're not, well, then you'll not be able to prioritize it as well. So this is the first conversation that I want you to have with yourself right now. You don't need a pen, you don't need a paper, you just need to be honest with yourself and imagine that you're looking into a mirror, that you're staring at yourself and you ask, do I know what I want? Do I know what my priorities are? And if no is the answer, sort them out. Think of something. Figure out the one thing that matters to you, no matter how small or big. And then prioritize it. Make it an active part of your life. Figure out why you're doing it and say, yes, this is the reason. This is why I want to do it. And if another person comes to me and says that, can you do this for me? I'll look at my time. I'll look at the things I have to do. And if it doesn't fit in with my priority, I'll happily say no. And that is the powerful state that you get to. Because I'll give you my example, right? When I was in school, I said yes to every single project the teachers sent my way. I anyways loved academics. I loved studying. And so I thought, what harm will this do, right? Even though I don't want to do this, even though I have like 20 other projects lined up, I'll still take it on. I'll still, spend some extra hours in the night, get it done. What difference does it make? It's only helping me revise. But then when I decided to write a book, when I thought that, yes, I want to publish my first non-fiction book and I want to do it in less than 50 days, that's when things changed. Because for the first time, I was clear on my priorities. I knew what I wanted. And then I had this whole load of projects lined up. But then I had to face the reality too, right? I already had a lot of these projects lined up. And now I also had a big goal of myself, a priority of mine that I wanted to take action on. So how did I balance that? Well, first of all, I honored my word because I had already promised that I would do this stuff. I can't back off on it, right? So I took that, I worked on those projects, but I also made working on my book a priority. Every minute that I got in between, I thought about it, or I wrote something in a document, or I woke up early in the morning, stayed up for a few hours in the night, and started working on the book. But that was not the only thing that happened. When another request came my way, when someone else said, can you do this for me? For the first time, I was confidently able to say no to them because I knew what I had to do, what I was saying yes to. And that is all the clarity you need, all the confidence you need, all the courage you need to say no. Get clear on what you want and then start actively saying yes to it. That's literally all there is. So when I hear people say that I'm unable to say no, I just can't do it, or I'm afraid of rejection, they're just stating one thing very clearly. And it's that other people's approval matters more to them than the priorities that they have for their life. That's it. That's the only clear message that sends, because once you know what it is that you exactly want, you won't care about this. And no, this doesn't mean you'll turn into an unkind, disrespectful, and unempathetic person. That does not happen. In fact, when you say no, you will be doing it with utmost respect for their time and for yours as well. And that's all that you need. And so, I really want you to ask yourself this question: what am I prioritizing? Am I prioritizing my dreams, or am I prioritizing the approval of other people just because I don't know what I really want to pursue in this moment? It's a deep question, I know, it's a heavy one as well, but it's an important one to answer, because if you just think that your problem is not being able to say no, well, then you're just treating the symptoms. You're not going to the root. And every single time you'll read about a tip, a tactic, you'll implement it, you'll set up some boundaries around yourself, but then you will breach them. You will let other people in once again. You will once again go out and search for that approval and search for that belonging, because you cannot find that from within. You don't have that clarity inside. And it might be harsh to hear, but it's important for you to hear this, because those quick fixes are not going to work. A week later, a month later, an year later, you will find yourself stuck in the same place, in the same cycle for approval that you will not find yourself in if you answer these questions today and actually start saying no to the wrong things and yes to the right things. That's all it takes, and that's all I want you to do as well. And the first step in that journey can be subscribing to this channel and saying yes to your future, to your personal growth, and to the person you want to become. Then add to it. Share your experience in the comments. What have been your struggles with saying no, and how are you going to change your priorities to take action on it? I would love to hear from you, and I would love to be of any help. And I would also really appreciate it if you share this video with people, because we are on a mission here. We are helping each other grow, and if one share even helps someone else say no, well then that's a job well done on my part and a job well done on your part too. So don't hesitate. Click that share button and know that I'm always rooting for you, and I will be seeing you here next week. Thank you.